One of the best FPV drone pilots, nicknamed Kohler FPV, reached another level of filming wingsuit skydivers from his gear. After months of practicing using tiny little drones with GoPro cameras on board, this time Kohler was able to record shots using a professional cinematic red Komodo camera, which is 10 times heavier than the GoPro cameras. Heavy drones, more danger, but the results are absolutely stunning. With this camera, Kohler's shots may be converted even for the IMAX cinemas. Wow. It feels like the collaboration of drones and air sports gets better and better every week. Just incredible footage. It's tough times still impacting Ukraine, but the free world won't give up. This is the first episode of the 11th season of Air Sports News. No breaks, no holidays, only pure love for aviation. I'm Regan Tetlow. Let's go. First, let's check out the closest air sports events in the calendar. Within 2 days from now in Cromwell, New Zealand, the Agrofest 22 contest will begin. This is the biggest aerobatic event on the antipodes for paragliders. After a very successful event in 2021, organisers decided to repeat the success. Depending on the numbers of contestants, the board might have some qualification runs during the week leading to the event. But so far, with 10 pilots on the starting grid confirmed, it won't be necessary. Every entrant will get at least 3 high toes over the water. Acro will be performed over the Lake Dunstan Boating Club, where spectators will have a possibility to watch the action unfold. Mostly New Zealand pilots registered this year, with 1 paraglider from Great Britain. We're keeping our fingers crossed for you all, guys. So before the next news, I promise to bring you the latest results from the Open Trio 2022 paragliding contest that have ended last week. And after 3 tasks, Carlos Daniel Gomez won the competition, flying on a Jin Boomerang 11 wing, with a tiny point advantage over the second place Pavel Alconia on the Ozone Zeno wing. The third place goes to Jose Rodriguez Gonzalez on the Ozone Enzo 3 wing. Congratulations. The FAI have presented a few details about the location of the drone racing events that will be part of the World Games 2022, hosted this year by Birmingham in Alabama, USA. Let's take a closer look. Drone racers from all over the world will meet at the newly built protective stadium. The venue will also host the opening and closing ceremonies of this multi-sport event. Located in the heart of the city, the stadium can be easily reached by spectators using public transport and is therefore accessible to a younger audience. Infrastructure of the stadium itself is well adapted to drone racing. Scheduling of the events at the protective stadium is also permitted in the evening, which makes for a great spectacle for drone racing audiences as the drone lights fly around the track in the darkness. We can't wait for the start of this event. So talking about drone racing, that leads to a great opportunity to catch up with this week's first special guest. She is a licensed drone pilot, an FPV drone pilot, a traveller, public speaker and programmer. She produces 2 videos per week on YouTube and feeds social media fans photos 2 times a week and daily stories via her Instagram. She's all about travel, photography, sharing love, passion and knowledge with others and self-growth. Plus, she has just signed a contract for an exciting new adventure with Airspeeder in Australia. Let's catch up with Buy on High, Lexi Jansen. So tell me all about this Airspeeder. What's going on? What's happening?
So I have been approached by Airspeeder like somewhere in August last year, and they were saying like really vaguely, hey, we would like to pay you to become the best pilot you can ever be and, you know, pay you for racing drones. And I'm like, yeah, I already have that. And they were like, no, but it's different. And then I actually Googled, and it turns out that Airspeeder is actually making a flying car. Wow. And they want to make a Formula One of the sky. And I just looked at it and I was like, ooh, I want to do it. I need to do it so much.
I was looking at some clips online. It looks absolutely spectacular. Now, my first question was, you're not sitting in the thing, right?
Well, so the thing is, we are currently doing it remotely. So it's currently a really big drone, you can say, but we are planned to get in.
No way, you're going to actually
Yes.
fly the thing.
That's the point. That was the selling point, because I was like, oh, you're just flying this remotely, that's boring. And he's like, no, you're gonna get in. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm listening again.
So you've changed your life, you've moved to the other side of the world, you're now in Australia, you're full-time doing this.
Yes, exactly. I mean, currently where you see me, this is my kitchen. This is the only place that has any type of furniture right now.
Wow.
I literally moved here like 3 weeks ago. So I just got this place and trying to fill it up. There is no studio yet. So yeah, all of the interviews are happening in the kitchen now.
And as always, in all the previous seasons as well, the full-length interview is now public on our Air Sports Promotion YouTube channel, where you can watch it, but also click like, share and subscribe. There's the notification bell as well that you can click to always be updated with our new content. Saturday Night Live show comedian Pete Davidson will ride on Blue Origin's 4th human flight to space, slated for later this month. Davison, alongside Marty Allen, Jim Kitchen, Dr. George Neal and Sharon and Mark Hagel, will lift off early in the morning of March 23rd. This will mark Blue Origin's 20th flight for the New Shepard program. The mission, dubbed NS-20, is currently scheduled for March 23rd and will lift off from Launch Site 1 in West Texas. A live stream of the launch will be made available on the Blue Origin's website. In last week's show, we showed you some short broadcast coverage of the amazing hot air balloon event organised spontaneously in Lithuania to show solidarity with Ukraine. Today we have much more shots from this amazing venue provided by Interlaced Media, and it's really worth a watch. During last year's Gordon Bennett race, organisers and pilots already had problems to fly east because of the Kaliningrad area and Belarus as a danger and prohibited zone to fly. Now with war in Ukraine, eastern directions could be absolutely out of reach. So how does the Gordon Bennett race, hosted by the Swiss this year, how's it looking? I asked this question to Mark Andre from the Gordon Bennett TV team.
First of all, I don't want to take the shine off what's happening too much, but at the moment with the problems we've got in Europe and this incredible invasion of Ukraine, can we still have a Gordon Bennett?
Well, it's very difficult to see into the future, right? But we certainly know that it will be much more difficult for airspace. We know that already now some other air championships already got notice by the military that their airspaces will be closed. So I could not imagine us flying close to the Ukrainian border. But yeah, it's difficult to say how difficult it will be. I would assume there's more military aircrafts active, so there will be more restrictions around military zones. So it will certainly be, let's hope we can have a race, but in that case, I would assume it will be a much more bigger challenge again for the teams to navigate all throughout the restrictions.
And of course, the World Championship hot air in, is it Slovenia this year?
Yes, it's in Slovenia.
Yes. Yeah, and again, waiting to see what happens, right?
Yeah, it's all very new. Like there's a lot that can happen till then, but I think we can be pretty sure that airspace won't be the same anymore as it was before the invasion. It certainly is going to be more restricted because NATO will remain very active in any case.
And if you would like to know more from Mark, check out our YouTube channel right after the show. Since 2022, our interviews database is still getting bigger and bigger, now with more than 200 chats available right now. We have some new details about the cross-country air race for women that is going to be held in the USA as the Air Race Classic. The course generally outlines either a point-to-point or round-robin route across the US and sometimes into Canada. The route typically includes 9 or 10 stops over a roughly 250 nautical miles course. This year's race starts in Lakeland, Florida. The terminus of the race takes place when the last airplane crosses the finish line in the sky at Terre Haute, Indiana. The Air Race Classic's mission to increase pilot education and elevate experience has enabled it to be recognized by the Ray Foundation, a private charitable organization focused on advancing general aviation. So right now I should have been on my way to Warsaw, Poland to visit the European Skydiving Symposium. Unfortunately, the situation in Ukraine is heavily impacting everybody in Poland and it's taking care of almost 2 million refugees. One of the symposium's organisers, Marta Molinska, had a few minutes to talk about what's going on right now in her country and what she and her team are doing to help.
Tell me how it's affected you, Marta. Tell me what's happening.
Yes, as you said, we should be in Warsaw having a great time at the symposium. And then someone decided otherwise. And since the Russian attack on Ukraine, we are working very hard to provide shelter for the refugees from Ukraine. At SkyCamp, we decided that we have some space on the drop zone. You know, usually it's just a place for skydivers. And we had approximately 15 beds. We, like 2 days after the war started, we decided that we want to dedicate those beds to the refugees. We started also retransforming the office areas to the rooms that are good for living, at least for a couple of days. And yeah, we scaled it up first from 15 beds to 35, then to 50, and now we are operating with 70 beds for the refugees.
Wow, you must have a lot of help. You've got some volunteers with you as well.
Of course. We have, apart from our SkyCamp team, we also have approximately 20 people who are coming every day, either to provide some supplies or to just give us some cash as a support for electricity or heating, because bills are coming regardless the war.
And the full-length interview can be found on our YouTube channel. Please don't forget to click like and share the content. This one really is important. Thank you. So the last news item today is for general aviation fans. Textron Aviation announced on Monday that its Cessna Sky Courier twin-engine utility turboprop has been granted its FAA type certificate. The aircraft, which flew for the first time in May 2020, has accumulated more than 2,100 hours during the flight test program. According to the company, the first unit will enter with launch customer FedEx Express soon. The 19-passenger version offers a top cruise speed of 210 knots, 920 nautical miles range, and a maximum payload of 5,000 pounds. Okay, now let's move on to our Hall of Fame section. On the 12th of March 1955, test pilot Jean Bollet and flight engineer Henri Petit made the first flight of the Alouette 2 prototype helicopter at Buc Airfield near Paris in France. The helicopter has an economical cruise speed of 92 knots. On the 13th of March 1928 at Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Miss Ellen M. Volick passed her flight test in a Curtiss JN4 Canuck and was issued license number 77. She was the first woman licensed as a pilot in Canada. On the 13th of March 1977, the prototype Sikorsky S-76A Spirit made its first flight at the company's Development Flight Center in Florida. This was the number 2 aircraft. Sikorsky's chief pilot John Dixon and the S-76 program test pilot Nicholas D. Lapos were in the cockpit. On the 14th of March 1908, Henry Farman made the first flight in his modified Voisin Farman 1bis, an airplane founded by brothers Gabriel and Charles Voisin at Billancourt, a suburb of Paris, France. The Voisin Farman 1 was a single-place, single-engine, two-bay biplane with the elevator forward and a box kite tail. So that's it for this week's show, guys. I hope to see you back here again next week, as always, at the same time. I'm leaving you with some stunning shots from Roy Wimmer Jaglum, who shared his amazing skydiving journey to Puerto Rico at the beginning of this year. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and as always, keep your eyes on the skies.